He looked calm, polished, and almost too perfect as he stepped into the most heavily scrutinized family on earth. But behind that flawless smile lies a trail of sudden exits, a hidden past, and a calculated pattern of behavior that has left royal insiders completely stunned. The world thinks they know the man Princess Beatrice married. The truth is, the most unsettling detail is the one no one is talking about, and it changes absolutely everything. Make sure you stay with us until the very end, because the final piece of this puzzle exposes a reality you will not see coming. If you love diving deep into the secrets the headlines try to hide, hit that subscribe button and join our family. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Long before a single royal camera flashed, a completely different life was quietly being erased behind closed doors. To the public, he seemed to appear out of nowhere, a polished gentleman ready for the ultimate spotlight. But insiders say a brilliant, highly successful woman was left picking up the pieces of a collapsed future. Her name was Dara Huang. She wasn't just a casual girlfriend, she was a Harvard-educated powerhouse building a design empire from scratch. They were engaged, deeply committed, and actively planning a lifetime together. Then, everything snapped. Reports suggest that the moment they should have been closest became the exact point of no return. Dara fell pregnant, but instead of celebration, an unsettling tension filled the house. Rumors indicate the couple went weeks without exchanging a single word, living as complete strangers under the same roof. Imagine carrying a child while watching your entire world quietly dismantle in absolute silence. Dara allegedly fought with everything she had to save the relationship, but one night, a single line was crossed. According to sources, she finally refused to beg for a bond that felt entirely broken, choosing instead to face the future alone. By 2016, their son, Christopher Wolf, was born into a situation that was already incredibly unstable. Yet, the public saw none of it. For the next 2 years, the pair was still photographed standing side by side at elite events, smiling as if the fairy tale was perfectly intact. But the reality did not match the images. By 2018, the relationship simply vanished, leaving no formal announcement and no public explanation. That absolute silence is exactly where things start to feel wrong. Because while one family was left in the shadows, another door was already swinging wide open. Within mere months of the final split, he was spotted in public with royalty. The timeline felt impossibly fast, leaving everyone to ask when this new connection actually began. But a broken engagement wasn't the only baggage entering the palace gates. To truly understand how someone learns to walk away from one life and straight into another, you have to look at the severe blueprint he was handed as a child. You don't learn to survive the world's most intense media storms by accident. You are engineered for it. For years, the public wondered how a relative outsider could step into a highly scrutinized family and look completely unbothered by the chaos around him. The truth is, his masterclass in emotional survival began with a single devastating phone call in 2011. His stepfather, a prominent figure in elite circles, collapsed and passed away at the highly public Glastonbury Festival. It was a moment of pure tragedy, but the timing made it an absolute nightmare. Just days prior, the family name had been dragged into a massive media scandal involving a leaked political document. Suddenly, a grieving young man wasn't just facing heartbreak, he was facing total public exposure. But instead of breaking under the immense pressure, he did something that stunned those around him. He put on a flawless face, buried his grief, and immediately co-founded a high-profile charity, channeling the controversy into public triumph. Insiders say this was the exact moment the blueprint was locked into place. You don't show weakness, you don't let the public see you bleed. This survival instinct ran deep in his genes. His father was an international figure who successfully remade his identity across different countries, shifting seamlessly from elite sports to the high-stakes art world. He grew up watching the adults in his life constantly adapt, rebuild, and survive, no matter what went wrong behind closed doors. He was groomed by Britain's most exclusive schools to navigate the highest echelons of society without ever leaving a crack in his armor. Every door was opened for him, and every lesson taught him how to keep up appearances when everything else is falling apart. So when a new, massive royal storm began to gather on the horizon, he was already perfectly prepared. But nobody could have predicted that his next major challenge wouldn't come from a family tragedy or a leaked memo. It would come from a multi-million-dollar business empire that was about to show its first major cracks. Behind the ultra-luxury real estate deals and the shiny brochures lies a trail of ruined financial dreams that the public was never supposed to see. At just 23 years old, he launched a high-end property development firm, utilizing elite family connections to open doors that most young entrepreneurs could only dream of. The business model sounded brilliant: find overlooked parts of the city, transform them into multi-million-dollar spaces, and sell them to the global elite. Within 2 decades, the company was managing projects worth hundreds of millions. But then, the glossy image began to shatter. An international venture backed by serious names promised everyday investors a slice of luxury coastal living. People handed over their life savings, trusting the impeccable reputation attached to the brand. Instead, the venture completely collapsed, leaving investors with absolutely nothing but total financial heartbreak. While everyday families were left exposed and reeling from the loss, he was reportedly seen thousands of miles away attending an exclusive design conference, looking entirely unbothered. Back home, serious property journalists started asking uncomfortable questions. The firm constantly claimed to focus on undervalued neighborhoods, yet some of its largest projects were landing right in the heart of the country's most expensive, highly sought-after postcodes. It was a business model that thrived on making premium spaces even more exclusive, pushing local communities out in the process. Every time a controversy surfaced, his response was always the same. He kept moving, kept building, and kept showing up to high-profile events in perfectly tailored suits. He had mastered the art of projecting absolute success, regardless of what was crumbling behind the scenes. But this ability to mask chaos with a flawless smile was about to face the ultimate test. Because his professional empire wasn't the only thing under scrutiny, he was about to enter a relationship where a simple countdown would trigger a massive internal crisis. Just 51 days. That is exactly how long the illusion of a perfect royal fairy tale lasted before everything completely imploded. When the official engagement was announced, the world cheered for what looked like a beautiful new beginning. The families had known each other for decades, moving in the exact same elite social circles. But behind the scenes, the sheer speed of the romance was reportedly triggering massive alarm bells. Rumors indicate that senior figures within the palace had serious reservations about the union, questioning how a relationship could move this fast when the ink on his past life was barely dry. But he was determined to lock in the future, personally designing an engagement ring that carried a hidden, deeply unsettling history. He collaborated with a famous jeweler known internationally for dark, sharp, and macabre artwork inspired by thorns and raw bone. It was a stylistic choice defined by tragedy, crafted by a designer heavily tied to an iconic fashion figure who had tragically ended herself years prior. Instead of choosing a symbol of soft, traditional romance, he opted for an aesthetic rooted in darkness and intensity. Yet, the unconventional ring was the least of their worries. As the couple began planning the guest list and the venue, a massive clock was ticking in the background. Insiders say the tension inside the palace was reaching a boiling point as an unrelated, catastrophic storm was brewing around the family name. They thought they were stepping into a highly controlled, structured future of royal prestige. Instead, they were walking directly into a public relations trap. Just weeks after the proposal, a single television interview would dismantle the family's public standing in less than 48 hours. And the shocking fallout from that moment would force their upcoming wedding completely into hiding. The father of the bride was completely erased from the official wedding day photos, hidden away as if he never even existed. When the storm surrounding the family reached its absolute peak, the lavish palace reception was cancelled and the grand ceremony was forced into a quiet, almost secret location. Rumors indicate the couple was desperate to keep the media focus far away from the severe accusations surfacing around her father. Yet, standing in the middle of this public relations nightmare, he managed to stay completely untouched. It takes a deeply calculating mind to watch the family you are marrying into. burn on the global stage while you remain perfectly pristine in a tailored suit. But the pressure inside their inner circle was only getting heavier. Behind closed doors, she was working as an executive for a prominent tech firm. Suddenly, a massive public investigation dropped, exposing shocking allegations of misconduct against the company's founder. While the founder was forced to resign in disgrace, she chose to stay, and he maintained a total unbroken silence. Insiders say this silence wasn't accidental. It was a shield used to protect his own brand, no matter what chaos surrounded his wife. Then came the sudden passing of the ultimate institutional protector, the one person whose influence had consistently shielded them from the worst of the public anger. Within days of losing that crucial ally, the couple abruptly packed up their lives and left the palace entirely. Reports suggest they weren't moving to chase a peaceful country dream. They were actively retreating because their royal safety net had completely vanished. Yet, just as they attempted to rebuild their lives behind high gates, a fresh crisis arrived that no amount of wealth or status could prevent. A terrifying medical emergency was about to strike at the absolute worst moment, threatening to tear their fragile new reality completely apart. The first night with the newborn child did not involve celebration, but a room full of panic, low, urgent voices, and machines moving at lightning speed. Their daughter was born several weeks prematurely, transforming what should have been a joyful milestone into a deeply horrifying medical emergency. For a couple that spent years carefully manufacturing an image of effortless perfection, this sudden crisis shattered the illusion completely. She was so profoundly shaken by the terror of the experience that she quietly turned her pain into action, joining a global charity dedicated to preventing early births. But while she was channeling her personal trauma into helping others, a much older shadow was waiting to pull them back into the dark. A massive release of millions of legal documents by the authorities sent shockwaves through elite circles. Suddenly, her name was spotted directly in the files, tied to a highly sensitive phone call from years prior involving her mother and a deeply problematic contact. The public wanted answers, demanding to know exactly what she knew and when she knew it. Yet, while the global press was picking the files apart, he was reportedly spotted enjoying a relaxed, multi-course lunch at a Michelin-starred restaurant, completely unbothered by the unfolding disaster. Insiders say his total refusal to make a single public statement isn't just calm composure, it is a calculated pattern of ultimate self-protection. Every single time a fire breaks out around his family, he manages to step aside, leaving the people closest to him to absorb the absolute worst of the damage. He remains completely untouched, pristine, and silent while the world burns around his inner circle. This leaves a deeply unsettling question hanging over the entire modern royal romance. When the day finally comes that his family truly needs him to stand in front of the fire, to speak up, or to risk his own reputation to save them, will he finally step forward? Or will the silence hold, proving once and for all what he truly stands for? The most tightly guarded secret isn't what he has done, but who he becomes the exact second the cameras stop rolling. For years, royal observers have pointed out that his absolute stillness during major family scandals is a psychological masterpiece. It is believed that a person does not simply develop this level of deep emotional detachment overnight. He has spent a lifetime mastering the art of the perfect exit, knowing exactly when to lean in and when to vanish completely into the shadows. But the ultimate test of this calculated behavior is unfolding right now, behind the heavy gates of their country estate. Reports suggest that the intense pressure of balancing an unyielding public image with an increasingly complicated private reality is finally causing cracks behind closed doors. Insiders say the couple is navigating an invisible divide, one where public smiles are strictly mandatory but private conversations have grown chillingly brief. The fairy tale is facing its final quiet countdown. You have to wonder how long a bond can survive when one partner consistently treats every crisis as a cue to protect themselves first. Rumors indicate that certain high-level documents yet to be made public could shed even more light on the financial networks connecting his elite business ventures to controversial figures. If those files ever see the light of day, the shield of silence he has relied on for over a decade will be entirely useless. He won't just be a spectator watching the fire from a Michelin-starred restaurant anymore, he will be standing right in the center of it. The clock is ticking on a revelation that could completely reshape how the world views this entire marriage. If you want to be the very first to know exactly how this high-stakes royal drama unfolds, when the final truth is exposed, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. The pieces are all falling into place, and what comes next will change everything you thought you knew about the palace's most mysterious couple.